What's up, guys? This is Will from Table the Game. I'm excited today because Angel from Danchigo Studios sent me Tekton Dash. Now, I was able to play this game a couple months ago online with the designers, and I had a really great time. It really intrigued me when they came to me and said, "Hey, Will, this is a party game / strategic game." Now, you know me, I love strategic games. I don't really play a lot of party games. But when they told me this was a merge or a melding of both of those, I was really interested because I do have two different types of game groups that I play with. I play with gamers that are play intense, long, complex games, and then I play with some people like my kids and some other people that don't play a lot of games. And so when they told me about this game, I was like, man, I need to check it out. Now, they were awesome to send me a prototype version of this game. So this game will be available on Kickstarter later on this year, so look out for it. And so my purpose of showing you guys this game today is I want you to take a look at it. I want to show you the components. I want to go over a little bit about the rules, and then I want to kind of go over who I think this game may be for, maybe who it won't be for. And when the game does come out on Kickstarter, if it's something you're interested in, of course, you can back it or not back it at that time. So let's get down the table and check this game out. All right, guys, this is Tekton Dash set up here. So I have a 3-player game set up for you. And so what I want to do is I want to go over some of the components. I want to go over some of the basic rules and let you decide whether you think this is a game that you may like or not. Then once I'm done, we can get back up to the top. I'll give you my final thoughts and give you kind of my ideas of who this game may be for, who it may not be for. So, all right, let's go over some of the basic components and rules here. So when you set it up, you know, in a 3-player game, you have 3 rows that you are playing with. As you can see here, if these empty spots, these are off limits. Now, you can see there's these individual tiles placed everywhere. So you need these tiles to build a blueprint on your player board, and we'll go over that in a second. Now, there's also obstacle tiles. You can see these acrylic tiles that fill up the board here. Now, there's a few different types. There are the ones that look just like the tiles here. These are spawn obstacles. Now, when you land on a spawn tile or obstacle, then you are able to actually roll dice and actually create tiles to be placed on here, and that really helps you, you know, throughout the game to get the right tiles that you need. And there are, on a 3-player game, there are 4 of these spawn tiles set up, 1 for each of the tile that you have. All right, now you have obstacle tiles. So these when you land on them, you cannot stay. Your dasher cannot stay on a boost. These are called boost. And so when you land on that, you have to go into the direction of the boost into the next tile. Now, those things can really help you, and sometimes they can really hurt you as well. So you have to be careful with them. They are good and they're bad. All right, there are stack tiles here. So these you can actually stack multiple, these are stack obstacles. So when you have a stack, you can actually place multiple tiles on there as you have different things spawned, or there's a mechanism where you can actually offload tiles from your board back onto here. And so you have that ability with those. And then last of the obstacles are the block tiles. It's hard for you to see it here in the video, but these go in between the floors and they will block you. They create, it makes it really difficult, but in a good way. So it creates a little bit of anxiety to get where you need to go sometimes. You're sometimes can be blocked in by other players because in a game of Tekton Dash, you can't have 2 dashers on the same floor. And so when you're moving in the race, these can actually block you. So let me give you an example here. So if I'm here and my opponent's right here, I can't, you know, in a standard game, you can actually go, you can go diagonally, but when this block is here, you can't go diagonally anymore. So I'm now forced to either do something else, or if I want to move on the track, I have to move this way, which may slow me down. So these block tiles can really kind of either help you if you're in the right position, or they can hurt you if your opponent's in the right position. All right, so let's go over your player board here. So at the beginning of the game, you randomly pick 2 tiles. You don't know what you need yet, and you don't know where you need them. Now, once you place them, there is a 3x3 grid of where you place them. Then you get your blueprint here. Now, when you get your blueprint, you have to match your tiles and get more tiles from the race, and put this together the exact same way to be able to cross over the finish line on the first round, okay, the first lap. Before you can cross over, you have to match this perfectly, and you cannot have any additional tiles here. And so on your turn, you have 2 choices that you can make, okay? Number 1, you can choose to move your dasher. You can move 1 space, okay? You can move up, down, you can move diagonally if there's no block tile in the way. Or you can move one of your tiles over, in any kind of way, that you can. You can't jump over, and you cannot go diagonally. And so you have to decide, okay, on this turn, am I going to continue up the track, or do I need to start moving my tiles to get this where I need to be? When you choose to move on this track, there's a few different things you can do, okay, because you get some free actions. So if I move here, okay, I can decide to move and then take this tile and place it on my board wherever I want. If I wanted to, I could decide to, before I move, I can take my free action and take this tile and then move. So you can either take before or after you move, and then of course I can place it, wherever. I'm playing with the wrong guy here, but so you can either take before or after. All right, the second thing that you can do is you can actually remove tiles from your board and put it back onto the main board. So you have a couple ways you can do that. Either A, if there's already an empty spot here and you land on it, and you decide to use your free action to take a tile, if you don't want this anymore, you can take it off and move it there, okay? The other way is if, let's say I'm right here, and this is a stack tile, so I can actually put 2 tiles on this. I move here, and on my free turn, I can remove a tile and put it there. So why would I want to do that? So like I said before, when you start off with your blueprint, you have to have the exact amount of tiles here. You can have more than that to be able to cross over the finish line. And so it just may be to where you either you just have too many tiles, or you just don't want to, maybe you have to move 1 tile too far over, and so instead of that, you'd rather just remove one and grab another one from another turn. So there's a lot of different strategic reasons why you may do that. Okay, and the last thing you can do on a move turn is if you are on a spawn location, then there is a spawn dice here. That there's a few different ways that the spawn works, but basically you roll the dice and then you're able to spawn the exact tile, and there's some other mechanisms that go into place that when you do that. So that's how your move turn is going to be, okay? And then that's basically the 2 different things you can do. You can either move with those free actions, or you can move your tile here. Now, there's a couple other things, and I didn't do this when I set this video up, but at the beginning of the game, there's a certain amount of these special tiles that are flipped over. Then you can actually do a power-up. And when you land on a power-up and take it and move it onto your tile, then you can take one of these power-up cards and you can use these. So these are really, really powerful. This is the sabotage portion of the game. So let's say on my turn, I was able to take this power-up tile and place it on my board, which you can only have 4 of these power-up tiles at one time. If you have 4, and before you can get another one, you're gonna have to remove that power-up token or tile before you get another one. So in this one, this says move eraser 2 floors. So this is a powerful one. This is one of my favorite ones, because if you have a dasher that is close to getting to the finish line, or close to getting to a tile that you want, and then you place this one and you attack them, you're moving them two spaces. Man, that's pretty powerful. Okay, a couple other things, then I'll be done. So at the beginning of the game, you are given a specialty token that you can use anytime during the game. Now you want to keep this secret, okay? Now this one says Dice Master. So what's cool is, like I mentioned before, is when you're on a spawn tile, different ways the spawn action will work. And so let's say you roll, you don't like the way that it turns out. Like I believe one of the ones is you don't spawn at all. So let's say you just don't want, of course you're not going to want that. And you have the ability to roll again and decide which one you choose. You can actually choose which one. So once you do that, once you use that, that's done. All right, guys. So this was a basic review of the game, a basic little rules teach to give you a general idea about what this game is about. So let's get to the top and let's go over a few of the things that I like about the game, and we'll just go from there. All right, that was Tekton Dash. What do you guys think? So for me, when I got this game, man, the production value really impressed me. I mean, you had your boxes, your wooden boxes for components. You had double layered player boards. You had your acrylic tiles that we placed on the racing track board. The racing board was very thick and durable, man. It was really awesome. Now, what I believe is this is probably the deluxe version of the game. Now, on their campaign, I don't know if this is gonna be true or not, but they may have different versions. They may have like a retail version and this deluxe version. I don't really know all those details, but when I saw it, that's what I assumed, that this was more of a deluxe version. All right, so let's go over kind of the pros and cons of this game. I want to go over who I think this game may be for and give you my opinion of it. Now, first off, I want to give you a little caveat. So when I'm reviewing a game, I really try to look through the eyes of who this game may be for, and that's how I try to judge or give you my opinion on if it's a good game or not. So let me give you an example. If I was reviewing a game that was for a 5-year-old, I'm not going to ding that game because it didn't have a 30-page rule book. I'm not going to ding that game because it didn't have 7 actions that you can choose from on your turn. I'm going to look at it through the eyes of, hey, if I'm playing with a 5-year-old, is this game a good game for that person? So that's how I really try to look at it when I'm giving you guys my opinion. So with that being said, with this game for me it's a family level game. It's for families, or it's for gamers, like light gamers that aren't into super heavy games. They enjoy a lighter version game, a quicker game. So either a new gamer or somebody that likes more simple games. And that's who I think the game is for, in my opinion. I really think this is a great family game that families would get a lot of enjoyment out of. It's simple, there's not a lot of rules to it, and you can play with a wide range of people. All right, so let's go over some pros and cons, things that I really liked about it, and some things that maybe they could work on, or things that I didn't like about it. So number one, the take that. Let's go over the pros. So the take that mechanism in this game, I really enjoyed that in this game. Now here's what's funny about it is I don't really like games that have that take that. You're gonna take from somebody, you're gonna stop somebody, you're gonna take away something from somebody. I don't really like that in games. I don't play a lot of games with that mechanism, but in this game it really works, and here's why. And when I saw it, I recognized, that's why I really started enjoying it. So we had one of the games that we played. I played with 2 of my daughters, my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter. And my youngest daughter was way behind. I mean, we were already almost going into the 2nd lap, and she was like, almost like just started, it seemed like. And in my head, I was like, man, she is done. She is like nowhere to be found. She's not even gonna come close. I thought we were gonna finish the game before she even got done with the first round. And then she just started like really grabbing a hold of what to do. And by the end of the game, she actually got into 2nd place and almost won 2nd place in a 3-player game. I was very impressed by how she grabbed a hold of the game, and just how that take that mechanism was extremely important to balance out the game. Without it, this game would just fall flat. So extremely enjoy this mechanism for this game. Now I'm gonna go over it. It could be a con for some people, because you do have to deal with that being stuck or being brought back, and sometimes people can't deal with that. But one thing that I feel like they really mitigated that and made it a lot more appealing is when you do get sabotaged or a card is played against you, then you can't be targeted again. Someone else has to be targeted, and then it opens you up again. So that means you just can't attack one person over and over again, and I really like that about this game. All right, now the other thing is this is a fast-paced game, so it is quick. Setup is fairly easy. Once you've set it up a few times, it's very simple to set up, and you can just get it to the table. get it played, and in a game, you can really play a game in 30 minutes to an hour, at the end of the day, you can just, that's really awesome. Like when you're in especially a family-oriented situation and you have a long day and you don't have a lot of time, this game, you can get to the table and get it finished very quickly. Now, the artwork in this game is really cool. I love the comic level, cartoon level artwork in it. Very cool. The player boards, the dashers, the tokens that you have, all of it. Of course, the cover, I love that. On my shelf, it really looks cool. Really like it. So this is a family-oriented game. So when you are playing with a wide range, a wide age range, I really enjoy that in a game where I can play this with a lot of different people. And if I'm playing with younger kids, like my youngest daughter is 11 years old, and that she could possibly win. So I was playing a game with her the other day, and she won. It was a game more of luck, and she won twice. And that's important because if I'm going to play with some younger kids, especially my family, if they never win, they're never going to want to play. So this game does have enough luck in it to where anybody can win, and I don't think one person can just kind of steamroll it and just win every time, because those sabotage cards, sometimes you may pull one that doesn't do anything or doesn't really hurt anybody, and then sometimes they can be devastating. So extremely important. All right, then the game does come with a personality test. So that's not 100% for me, but I think it's kind of cool. So once you're done with the game, it's going to tell you, did you play super aggressive? Did you play, were you nice and just try to be more strategic? Or were you trying to just really take people out? So very cool. This game is, like I said, for families. You're going to really, really enjoy it. You can play with a wide range of people. So Tekton Dash is definitely, if that's what you're in the market for, I really think you should give it a try. All right, guys, let's go over some of the cons that you may, and they're not really, you know me, I try not to be very negative. So a couple things that are important, I think they should consider. So in the grid, when you are doing your blueprint, you have to work with a 3x3 grid. I really think the designers should kind of outline that thicker so that younger players, like my younger daughter, it took a second for her to understand that, and if they highlighted that grid, then it would be easier for people to say, okay, you need to get these tiles inside of this, but you can move it outside of that grid, when you're maneuvering your tiles. So I really think they should highlight that when they make their final production. All right, now the take that. I mentioned that I'm going to bring up the take that in this game. So the problem with take that, the sabotage portion of the game, is that some people just can't handle that. And it's one reason, like I said, for me, I thought it worked really great for this game. I really enjoyed the mechanism in this game. In fact, they would have to do something to mitigate people just being able to just take off, and you have to be able to stop people, or some people would just win this game if everything worked out. So very important for this game. But I think for me, the reason I don't typically like take that in games is because you work so hard to do something, and then it gets taken away. So I've mentioned this a few times. At the end of a lot of the games that I play, I always have this grand scheme of what I want to accomplish, and then I never get that done. And so on top of that, if someone takes away what I did get done, that sometimes is devastating and may not be fun for some people. So if you just do not like take that type of games, games where you can be punished for things, then this may not be for you. But I would give it a try because, like I said, it's really not for me, but I really enjoyed it in this game. And the last thing is a variant. So me being more of a strategic gamer and not as much of a party gamer, I think it would be really interesting if the designers made a variant that was more complex. This is, in the grand scheme of things, this is a very simple game. On your turn, you really have two choices, either to race or to deal with your player board. And when you race, you get like a couple extra things you can do. But in the grand scheme of things, this is a very simple game. And so I think it would be really cool if the designers created more of a strategic variant that wasn't as geared towards simplicity. You know, maybe that you had, you know, an extra 2 or 3 choices of something you could do that just made it more strategic and less, you know, less luck based and things like that. So other than that, you know, like I said, great family game. I really think if you guys are in the market for something like that, if you enjoy this kind of racing type game, then man, you should give it a shot. So other than that, guys, I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate you guys, and you have a wonderful day.